सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करम् शङ्कराचार्यम् केशवम् बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
You can chant verse 18 to 22.
अन्तवन्त इमे देहाः नित्यस्योक्ता शरीरिणः अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद्युध्यस्व भारत। य एनं वेत्ति हन्तारम् यश्चैनं मन्यते हतम्। उभौ विजानीतः
नायं हन्ति न हन्यते।
ये दिव्या का ऑन है आई थिंक।
नायं हन्ति न हन्यते न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः। अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे। वेदा विनाशिनम् नित्यम् य एनमजमव्ययम् कथं स पुरुषः पार्थ सङ्घातयति हन्तिकम्। वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि।
So continuing from yesterday, we saw that Atma, which is one's nature, is avinashi and therefore is nityam. It is avikari. It is birthless, changeless. It is ever, ever there. It is never that it is not there. It will never be that it will not be there. It is ever a presence, recognized or unrecognized. It is the Aadhar, it is the base, it is the very material, quote unquote. It is the very substance, what we call as life. Entire life is dependent on Atma for a manifestation. Without Atma, there can be no manifestation at all. By itself, Atma can be without manifested creation or beings, but beings and creation cannot be without Atma. So, Atma is the topic over here, knowing which Krishna tells Arjuna that the one who appreciates this fact of life, what will be his natural tendency or vyavhar with reference to world or activities or relations? The one who is able to appreciate the fact, for such a person, there is a very high degree of acceptance, a very high degree. There's nothing called absolute in values of the world, but relatively it has a very high degree of acceptance of things as they are. So the resistance for things, for resistance or expectations of things are very low in such people who have such knowledge, such understanding. A complete jnani is our pole star, completely established, mukta purushaha. That is our objective, that is our goal, that is our ideal, that is our inspiration, that is literally our North Pole star, constantly leading us and directing us through the vagaries of life, helping us to choose what takes the life forward in that direction. So the one who knows this has such a high degree of things as they are, that their wisdom, because of this acceptance, the Viveka Buddhi, the Viveka Shakti, because of such an acceptance, works differently than a person who is completely involved in the situation, in the change, perceiving it to be real. I'm repeating. A person who doesn't have this knowledge of Atma being your true nature, one's own self, but natural believes the Jivatva Bhav to be real. I am an individual और ये मेरा सत्य है और मैं यही हूँ, and इसके अलावा I don't even perceive, honestly speaking, all of us understand, we don't even perceive the thoughts of our closest people. We don't know what goes in their mind. We don't know their intentions. We don't understand anything. So ultimately it boils down to saying that here I am, who I am, as I am. If I see my individuality as the only sole reality of the world, मैं यही हूँ और यही मेरा सत्य है. And therefore, because of which all things that happen around me in my world are real for me. The degree of my Viveka Shakti with such an involvement will be very less, diminished, compared to supposing I know that my Jivatva Bhav, my individuality, is incidental reality. It is not a complete reality. It is a transactional reality. It is not actually a reality, but it is a transactional value. It has a transactional value. If I am talking, if I'm listening, if I'm speaking, if I'm eating, if I'm breathing, if I'm walking, all these can only happen when I have a sense of transactional reality, that I am this form and I am this individual. But that is about the worth of that transactional reality. My real nature is not this reality. And actually, you don't even have to go as far as Atman. If you even see your own self with reference to who your expression as an individual comes, say with your best friend, with your parent, with your sibling, with your enemy, which person comes out from you? Is it the same person? If you have a very close friend, where do you identify your identity, individuality? With reference to your parent, where is your sense of individuality? Are these two individuals really the same individual? Has anybody ever thought about this? Even amongst friends, Why do we tend to select ultimately one or two or three or whatever as close ones and the others are not so close? Based on what? Because with every person in the world, it is impossible to be the same from a Vyavaharik Drishti. In a later verse, he will say, Guna Guneshu Vartante. Our gunas tend to relate with each other. There are so many people in us by our own self. My own self has so many people, yes, so many roles according to the roles we play. There are different people that are there actually in me, as if. One who knows that all these are only transactional reality. Some people are very close to their parents, some people are not close to their parents at all. Now, when you're very close to your parent, you find the greatest comfort around your parent. They give you a sense of a different identity. You may not be too close to a parent. You get a different identity with maybe someone else, more closer to who you think you are. The idea is Brahma Gyan, Atma Gyan, the one who is established in, he sees the entire Vyavaharik realm, transactional realm, as only incidental reality, and this individual is an incidental reality based on which the level of objectivity or the level of Viveka Shakti that operates is far higher. They are able to discern faster, quicker, or more correctly what is right and what is wrong, even for the individual in a particular set of circumstances. For them, what is it that is right and wrong? We, like Arjuna, almost all of us are confused at some point of the time. Important decisions to be made where we think our life is hanging on that decision. My decision can take me this side or that side. It can make me or mar me. My choices can define me better or can be very destructive for my personality. All this is happening to everybody all the time. What is the only thing that is dependent, what we are dependent on to guide us, truly is only our Vivek Shakti. If our Vivek Shakti is not operational at its best, but natural, there will be errors in decision, there will be errors in functioning, there will be errors in judgment. The more involved one is, the lesser the Vivek Shakti will have freedom to operate unbiased, unprejudiced. When we are involved in a situation, there is this personal I that seeps into it, and therefore my wants, my expectations, my hopes, my likes, my dislikes also percolate far higher, at a higher degree, percolate deeper into the situation, reducing the capacity to be objective, to use the Viveka Shakti. So Krishna says here that the one who knows Atma as Avinashi, whose standpoint say, like yesterday we said, taking the standpoint of that higher self, from that higher self, your fact, I may not appreciate it fully today. I don't understand it really. That's irrelevant. That there is something I can latch on which is higher than this level of understanding today that I hold of myself. From that standpoint, if you operate through your situations of life, you will find there will be less tumultuous, there will be much less uchal kood, there will be much less that kind of anxiety and much less of
confusion,
pulling apart of yourself. You get pulled apart in situations and the imbalance sets in faster. That situation is only possible to be avoided when you know yourself. To the degree, now I'm bringing it to relative level, to the degree we understand these things, to that a degree, the stability of one's mind is there, the stability of one's Viveka Shakti is there. Mind, I would still not say use it so frequently, because the important factor is your Viveka Shakti available to you? There are some people who can be very disturbed, but their Vivek Shakti remains unaffected. For example, say, even for Ram, when Sita was taken away, there was a deep moment of anguish. But Vivek Shakti doesn't stir itself. The cognition of what is right and wrong is not affected by what has happened or what is happening in my present as my Sharir Dhari Jivan is continuing. This Sharir Dhari Jivan has to have experiences, and not all experiences are bound to be good. Out of 100 experiences, by the end of our life, if we are able to say 60% were also good, I think it's a great life. At the end of our life, if we say 60% of my life went well, why 60? Even 30, 40, 50, whatever it went well. It is impossible that you will have your entire life going according to you. Not possible for anyone. Therefore, what is the topic, he says? Get that topic, clinch it as much as you can. It will not get clinched at one reading, at one hearing, or a couple of hearings, couple of readings. It's a life journey. Keep your mind engaged in these thoughts till you are able to unravel the whole knowledge. Till every piece of knowledge has fit into, and there the cognition lights up. Yes, this is the thing that Vedanta was saying. This is me. Till that thing is clinched. Till then, it's an ongoing learning process. Till then, it's a perpetual redefining the understanding. It is a reorientation of one's thinking. It is a constant recorrection. So he says, knowing Atma Avinashi is the pratigya. It's the fact, statement of fact. And that statement of fact, he says, to appreciate it closer, because Atma is unknown to us, not available to senses. So Shastra keeps giving us some example from everyday life, some example from here and there, so that we are able to connect to the knowledge through the help of Laukik example, what happens in the world around us. So 22nd verse is an example like that. Through the examples around us, the knowledge comes closer to us. The example is what? Something that we do every day, but we never look at it like that. None of us, I take a guarantee on this, there would be probably a very small percentile of people who would have thought of it like this. Every day we change clothes. But how have we ever thought that it affects the body? Never think about it. We are so engrossed in color and form of the vastra. Vastra by the very word. Why are the clothes called vastra? Vastra by the very word means the one which covers, ढकता है. जो ढकता है वो वस्त्र है. By very nature it is covering. That alone is clothes. It covers. What does it cover? It's in close contact with the body, as if. When it covers, you're not seeing the body. It's as if in close contact with the body. It has covered the body. So what you see is the clothes. What is that affectation on the body? शरीर पे क्या उन वस्त्रों का असर है? शरीर को क्या होता है उन वस्त्रों से? Is there anything that happens to the body because of the clothes? Nothing happens. Krishna says here, that is because clothes cannot, by very nature, have no association with the body. By very nature, do not have an association with the body. Because clothes are gross, body relatively is subtle. Clothes are, when you see the exercise, this exercise I used to give very long ago. Suddenly I'm reminded, forgotten about it. Now I'm reminded today again. When you have hung your own, say, kurta or something on a hanger, do you see yourself in it at that time? The minute you put it on, the same cloth seems to now have a life. It takes the shape of your own body. As long as it is there, it can be, anybody can wear it. When you go to a shop, before you pay for it, you buy something before you pay for it. Many people may have tried it. It has gone through many hands. Before you say, okay, I buy this now. Now it has become mine. Cloth by nature, to be reflected as much as you can reflect. Cloth by nature has absolute no connection to the body. Yet, the idea is that when the wearer wears it, the cloth also seems to now have an expression. It also seems to now exhibit some shape and form. It also exhibits some life. And that's why when people move on, exit the body, along with them their clothes and everything also is discarded away. Why? The person was there, person's not there. What is the role of the clothes? You can't keep hanging on to them. He says, just as the clothes, vastra, when they are old, when they are discarded, how effortless is it to give it up? I think he says here, parityajya, loke vihaya parityajya. Parityajya means abandoning it, giving it up. Vastrani, vasamsi, vastrani. Jirnani, what is jirnani? The word here, vasamsi, jirnani. Jirnani, he says, durbaltam gatani. The ones who have been worn out. जो अब फट रहे हैं, चिथड़े हो रहे हैं in Hindi. Durbalatam means they are weakened. The thread has weakened. The warp and the woof has loosened, worn out, torn away. Those that have taken full life, they have been worn enough times, washed enough times. They have seen enough experiences. Yatha, as in loke, in the world. Vihaya, parityajya. That's the word I wanted to highlight. Parityajya. You give it up. Do you have any regrets in giving it up? When it's completely torn and not wearable anymore. I guess today we may still be saying, old clothes, we hold on to also. Well, idea is we should not be. When it's time to be giving it up, you give it up. You're not going to hold on to clothes that you can't wear anymore. Parityajya. It's a beautiful word. Tyajya is chhod dena. One that can be given up. Tyajya. And one who gives it up. That relation is there. जो छोड़ा जा सकता है. परित्यज्य, completely, एक बार छोड़ के you will not pick it up again. That is परित्यज्य. Completely giving it up. Just as in the world, if this is a difficult example, let's take the example when you grow out of your clothes. In your growing age, 5-year-old clothes of yours, when you are 16-year-old, do you keep it? Maybe because maybe some people say, no, I can't give up my clothes, old clothes, because of whatever reason, attachments I have. Okay, your old 5-year-old clothes, will you keep it? Given it up. Parityajya. Just as that. And then what do? You never remain without taking new clothes. Navani, abhinavani, fresh. Those that are now very fresh to take on. That's the meaning. Navani. Grinnati, upadatte. Now you take on fresh, new, strong, that last you for some time. You take on new clothes. Naraha, people. Purushaha. Aparani, anyani means you take on new clothes. Tatha, in the same way. That's the parallel. Yatha, I said in a previous class, wherever there's a yatha, there is a tatha. That is the drishtanta, dashtanta. Drishtanta is the clothes, simile. Dashtanta is tatha, in the same way. Sharirani vihaya jirnani. Underline it 1,000 times if you need to establish in the thought. When the body has become worn out, now not serving the one who's inside, देही का अब ये गति को, it's not suitable anymore. The body is going to be available to you as long as the dehi inside, here in this context, the Jivatma, finds this environment, this body comfortably suitable for the purpose that it wants. What it has come to body for. It has come to own the body for. It has come to manifestation as birth for. As long as this body is conducive for such things, nobody will give up the body. That's why life is precious. Nobody can give it up easily. Clothes are easy to give up. Life is not easy to give up. But when there is no use any further, life, the body is not serving the purpose of the individual, of the Jivatma. The Jivatma is now finding it stagnant to be in the Sharir. Their sankalpas is not getting fulfilled. You are able to do no gati, and there are maybe other reasons, many other reasons are possibly there. These are just 2-3 identifiable from the Shastra Drishti. But when the body is not serving the individual anymore, then what? Anyani sanyati navani dehi. Then this takes on new body. Who takes on? Sharirani vihaya anyani sanyati sangachati. Takes on a new body. Navani, Dehi, this Atma. And who's this Atma? Shankara puts it beautifully. Purushavat, looking like a person, looking like an individual. It's a very subtle thing. I said, when this body doesn't serve the person here, then by nature we will give it up. You can't hang on to the body forever. Nobody can, out of attachment to the body, live forever. I can extend my life up to a point, but at some point, I have to give it up. This Dehi, who's actually Atma, Purushavat, looking like a person, that individual, in other words, is really speaking Atma. So, this individual as if takes on a new body. Atma, what happens to it? Avikriyaha eva iti arthaha. Remains changeless, avikriya. When this body is given up, nothing happens to Atma, which looked like Purusha. At the moment, this body has an identification, so there is a deeptiness coming through it. There is a Nitunas coming through it. There is a Priyankaness coming through that body. There is the Divyaness seeing in that. Each one of us, you can find the individuality expressing through the body. When the body is given up, as if the body, it's like that cloth hanging on the hanger. So many of us would have noticed it. When a close one goes away, the characteristics that were so evident, there is some Chaitanyam that expresses through the body, as if the individual expresses through the body. When it's disconnected, given up, that body is just nothing. No expression of the individual comes through it. We have noticed it? Anyone? You can see that there is no expression coming through that. Suddenly you say, where is this person? What happened? And then if someone's had a very close experience in life to death, the relatives would say that. For some time, nothing, and then when the life is coming back, again the body starts expressing that characteristic of the individual inside. It's a fascinating thought that this body is actually shaped by the person inside, as if. ये नहीं है कि बॉडी है और उसमें हम हैं. हम हैं इसलिए ये बॉडी shaped है. This body has a shape on me because of me. I am giving this body the identity. The body doesn't have anything, just as Vastra don't have an identity of their own. The body doesn't have an identity of its own. So what really happens? Purushavat, जो ये आज diptiness है, divyaness है, etc., all of usness है, this characteristic that we find ourselves as an individual is actually what Shankara has added beautifully. Atma. Looking like a Purusha. Atma, looking like a Purusha, remains avikriya, is avikriya. No change. Avikriya. A Sanskrit word that you may have to decode. Kriya, kri dhatu, means to do, karna, modification. Vikriya means completely changing, modifying. Like water. What happens to water when you put it under sub-zero temperature? Vikriya, water has become ice. But is water really changed its waterness? It is now seen as ice. It's gone through a change. Vikriya. Put it above 100 degrees, 90 degree, 100 degree. evaporates. It's now first steam and then it evaporates. It's vapors in the air even now. You may have vapors. Vikriya means it has to undergo a change. Like milk, when you curdle it, Vikriya. What is cheese? What is paneer? Vikriya. What is cream? Vikriya. Of what? Milk. What is ghee? Relative to all of them. Hanji?
Vikriya.
It is Vikriya, and relative to all of them it is? How much Shad
Most
Bhava
of it.
Vikar on milk will be faster? Paneer will have, cream will have, all other forms of milk will have, everything will have decay. What will happen to ghee? Relatively, avikriya. It's doesn't undergo, but correct. But it does, of course, solidify, liquidify, etc. But it is still avikriya. Correct. It remains that. So what will not change when changes are happening? Which means what? Just imagine it and extrapolate it for consolidating the knowledge. Today we are in this birth. Now, say I am as a female gender, born in this community, born in this to these set of parents, born as such and such with inclinations for such and such, got this education, these are my accomplishments of this life. All of this is getting added and reduced into my own karma phala. Some are adding better, some are destroying my other karmas, some are adding as bad karmas, phal, karma phal. Something's happening because I'm constantly acting. Once this body refuses to cooperate further to my fulfillment, as I would want a life to be, then gone body. Navani Dehi. The Dehi will take a new body. Purushavat again. But at that point, the body I get, I'm not sure what body is coming. It could be absolutely different to this body. If I'm a female now, I don't know if I'll be a female in the next lifetime. I have no idea. But the sense of individuality that I am feeling, Purushavat, personvat, individual that I feel now, when in association with a new body, ditto, 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 it remains the same. Nothing will change. All that has happened is, so much Vikriya would have happened. I may be born in Timbuktu, I would be born in, perhaps in Ireland, maybe. I may be going to Ireland. And then what? I don't know. Maybe I'll be another religion following as vehemently as I follow this religion. As a kid, I used to do that mananam a lot. If I'm not born into this community, if I'm born into a completely different community, if I'm born into a Christian family, will my values change? What will happen? How do you become free of all this? Some of us have done a text called Upadesha Sahasari. Just the prose part of it, the initial verses. The teacher asks the student, who are you? He gives his name. Then he says, that is your name. I'm asking you, who are you? Then he gives his age. That is your age. I'm asking you, who are you? Then he thinks a little. Then he says, oh, I belong to such and such a gotra. I belong to such and such a community. He says, that is all what you belong to. I'm asking you, who are you? The question goes on and on and on and on. Finally, the pratipada, the education starts, and the student realizes through the teaching, I am Atma. He concludes there, unlike Arjuna, he concludes there. He says, I am Atma. I'm not this name, I'm not this form, I'm not this religion, I'm not this caste, I'm not this bundle of characteristics. Therefore, point is, so much vikriya can happen, has happened. I don't know what the previous birth was. कहाँ से हम कितने जन्म निकले हैं, क्या हो रहा है भी कि नहीं है, we don't even know. There can be a big argument. But for us who believe in, who accept Vedas as our, as a book of authority, for us, definitely this is not the first lifetime. Suddenly you've not come out of nowhere. It's not possible. So there is a carry forward. So much vikriya may have happened. That's my point. How much vikriya has already, you have given up so many bodies and taken on so many new bodies. We never think about it. How long is this body also there? Few years. You'll be giving it up. Then again new body. Same thing with the new body also you'll do. Oh, I have to be careful. I have to do this and this and this and this and this. Nakras of the body. We'll be pleasing our body on the dictates of the body. But what is the body? The body is here to serve the individual. So he says, avikriya, through all these changes, huge changes, the environment may be different, everything has changed already. And yet the Atma, avikriya, it remains changeless. How is it changeless? Further, why do you say Atma is avikriya? Tasmat avikriya eva. How is Atma avikriya? He starts the 23rd verse. 23rd verse. And in this verse, again a famous verse, this 23rd and 24th verse again, he says, being avikriya, he said it's avinashi also. What can destroy? Yesterday we saw everything in the world is subject to destruction, is subject to change. What is it that is avinashi? It's a matter of reflection. Here he's saying why everything is subject to destruction and how Atma, between these 23rd and 24th verse, he's going to say, Atma is indestructible. Nothing can change it. Nothing can destroy it. Because the medium of destruction is between four elements: air, fire, water and earth. Space also cannot destroy. The reason that it cannot destroy is because space is asangaha. It remains unaffected, unattached, asang hai, with everything that is there in space. It never identifies with anything. So space has no cause, cannot become the cause of destruction. But the other four elements have the property of destruction. They play the role of destruction. How does Prithvi play the role of destruction? How does Prithvi destroy? Shastra says, all shastra, all weapons are actually earth element. Everything that is used as a weapon, earth is representative. The quality of destruction that earth has is seen through weapons. Whether it's a nuclear bomb or it's a simple sword. So what does weapon do? Shastra. That's the only example he gives. Rest he gives clearly as elements. Prithvi he gives as Shastra here. What does Shastra do? Chindanti. It cuts. It separates. काटती है. What can be cut? What can be cut?
Anything gross?
Anything gross? Closer to that would be? What can be cut?
Body.
Body. Because
It's made of parts.
Because it's made out of elements.
it's made of parts.
Oh. But the 5 elements?
Everything's made of 5 elements.
Okay.
Everything in matter is 5 elements. So everything will affect everything else. But the cutting, what can you cut into cutting means you've separated the parts. What is made of parts only can you separate. What is not made of parts, can anything cut it? Can you cut space?
No.
तभी तो हम कहते हैं हवा में
Yeah.
तलवार चला रहे हो. हवा में
Right.
तलवार चला रहे हो का मतलब क्या है? चलाते रहो, कुछ भी नहीं होने वाला है. Because you're not going to cut space. Because space is
Correct.
not made of parts.
Mm.
So what does Prithvi as an element work with as exhibit the property of destruction? What can it destroy? Something which has parts. It will affect something which has parts. And how does it affect it? By it cuts it, or it's like supposing someone even walks in these potholes. You would have some accidents, things go into the potholes and people die, or accidents, or stone throwing. What is all this? It's causing injury. It's causing destruction. Can happen because whatever is made of parts can be separated. Chityante. You can cut them. What? Shastra. But this Dehi, Atma, is not made of parts. So, na chindanti shastrani. Shastra cannot kill Atma, cannot cut Atma, cannot destroy Atma, cannot amputate Atma. You can amputate the body, but you can't amputate the Atma. This body, enam prakritam, in the context of the topic, dehinam, the dehi, na chindanti shastrani. It cannot be cut by the weapons. Why? Niravayatvat. It is free of all parts. Avayava nahi hai usme. Avayava means vibhagam na kurvanti. You cannot make a vibhag there. You cannot separate. You cannot make a division there. So, Prithvi, in other words, as an element, cannot destroy Atma. Whatever is manifestation of Prithvi, the power of destruction that earth holds, cannot destroy Atma. Then what? Na enam dahati. pavakaha. Agni is called pavak. Pavak means purifier. Agni purifies. How does Agni cause destruction? We all know that. Bhasmi karoti. It reduces everything to ashes. The way fire destroys us, it reduces everything to ashes. Burns it. Fire cannot burn Atma. So, Atma cannot be reduced to ashes. What can be reduced to ashes? Body will be reduced to ashes. Fire will affect the body, will burn the body, but fire will not burn Atma. Tatha cha enam kledayanti apaha. Apaha, the water. How does water affect? By wetting it, by wetting, drowning, all that. Even when you soak your fingers or your toes for some time in water, galati hai. Kledayanti means jo galati hai. Now you see all those, क्या कहते हैं उसको? Your fingers are
Wrinkly it becomes.
Moist.
wrinkly.
They get very moist.
Moist and wrinkly, that is now even a little while in water. Extra time if you put it, they start getting affected. Water can drown the body, destroy by drowning. If you keep the body submerged for a short time, the body starts to decay by the process of drowning. Kledayanti, by wetting it, it starts to disintegrate, decompose itself. Kledayanti, शरीर को करती है. न शोषयति मारुतः. And how does air destroy? By shoshayati. It, Shankara says here, adri bhava karanena. It takes away the moisture that is giving form to the body, and by dehydrating it, it destroys it. So the way moisture is said to hold the form, slowly air takes the moisture away and the form disintegrates. Like, when there's drought, you see the cracks on the earth. So that is called removing, or
It dries up. It dries up.
Dries up. That's the word I was saying. Dries up. It dries it up. So when you see a wet wood, does a wet wood burn?
No.
Unless until the wood has become dry,
Right.
fire can have no effect on it. So you see, even the dust that you see is all what? In fact, it is a interesting change that's happening in the food technology of modern times. Dehydration has become a very common method of preserving food. Dehydration, they actively dehydrate food component. and then they think they can rehydrate later for consumption. A lot of villages and everything also did for excess production. When you had preserve it for another season, when you don't have it. A lot of cold places do that. But the fact that you are dehydrating it completely I have no scientific basis for it, but I would suspect that the possibility of that being food which gives you energy cannot be the same as the food which has the life component in it. That's why it can be preserved, but how beneficial will it be is still to be studied probably. It's accepted, yes. So point here is, anything that gets dehydrated, even the body, if you do not give it enough water content, what will happen? People who keep a lot of fasts, they're advised to keep taking some sip of water in between. If you don't, the kind of fast that you have the whole day not drinking water at all, by evening what happens to your head? Somebody's ever tried? Goes zoom, 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 takes a full chakkar, and you literally are in a different world because the orientation has changed. The balance of the elements, the body is elements. The balance of these elements is what is keeping your body healthy. But any one of them can affect and destroy. But what it can destroy is what it is making. It is making the body. So it can only destroy the body. Atma cannot be destroyed. Therefore, he says, this abhikriya Atma, all the elements only have the possibility of change. Atma remains abhikriya. No element will bring a destruction to it. In other words, it strengthens your thought on accepting that possibility also is not there. Supposing tomorrow we make a new weapon, we have reached up to atom bomb, nuclear bomb. Supposing we make a more stronger method of destruction, will that destroy Atma? Never in the future. No, in no yuga, in no part of creation. Billion years from now also it won't happen. Billion years also, another yuga, another creation, another Brahmaji's dunya also it won't happen. You will come and go into another. This Brahmaji's dunya will wind up. New Brahmaji will come. New dunya will come. You will carry yourself into the new dunya. There also Atma cannot be destroyed. No alien will destroy the Atma. Nothing will affect Atma. On one hand, if you understand the spirit of the verse, it is a great relief and freedom. Already. Just the spirit of the verse.
It gives you fearlessness. You become fearless.
Absolutely. It gives you so much relief inside. It gives you freedom. It gives you relaxation. It gives you a charge of your life, actually. It puts you in charge. Because now you know that there is something that is steady. I can now conduct a life to know it. It puts you in charge. You are no longer, bhatkoing as per the situation. You're not just floating as per the wants of the society or people and things like that.
You are now confident also.
Absolutely. Correct. It gives you the confidence also to be. That's what, in fact, so well said. The purpose of knowledge, the first purpose of knowledge is it gives you confidence in the knowledge. You have a praman now.
Yes.
That praman is already, it's not your thinking. It is not a person's thinking. It is not one who's trying to brainwash us. It's not someone who's trying to convince us, see, Atma doesn't get, therefore. It's not a matter of belief. It's not a matter of complete superstition or half-hearted. No, this is Praman. As much a Praman as my eyes have validity for color and form, Shastra has validity for Brahma Gyan, Atma Gyan. And Shastra says Atma cannot be destroyed, period. This is the grace of our Shastra that they're giving us this verse so that we understand it better. It's pure anugraha that this verse is there to help us from the world. The analogy is picked up so that we are able to relate to it to some degree, to be able to process the thinking better. So, nainai chindanti shastrani. If you don't chant, nainam chindanti shastrani. Nainyat chindanti shastrani if you're chanting. Nainandahati pavakaha. Shastra will not. Na enam, this, Atma. Shastra is Atma ko काटती नहीं है. Agni is Atma को जलाती नहीं है. आपह, पानी इस आत्मा को डुबाती नहीं है. Doesn't wet it. हवा इस आत्मा को सुखाती नहीं है. And if you think a little more, what are these four kinds of, what would you call them? What are these four types of
Elements.
elements? Okay. What are these four types of?
Planet.
Sorry?
Everything that is there in the planet.
Okay. Fine.
Maya.
Maya. Okay. Okay. No, not that far. All these four are the only ones that are causing vikar. इन्हीं के शरीर पे क्या अफेक्ट करेगा? इसके अलावा कुछ है जो शरीर को अफेक्ट करेगा? Correct. Subject to destruction themselves. Correct. Nothing else is going to, there is nothing else that can affect. These are the ones that are there. Shastra has analyzed it for us. It's a process of analysis. These are the elements, and this is how they affect, and what they affect, and what they cannot affect. Because these elements themselves get their existence from Brahman. So, he says, Nainan, this was done. Now, the same thing he's talking from the point of expressing it differently. Achedya ayam adahya. Excuse me. From the standpoint of Atma, he's saying, Achedya ayam atahya ayam akledya ashoshya evacha. The first line, what he said in the previous verse, he's consolidating it to say, therefore, this Atma is Achedya. And what is Achedya? He says, it's given it separately. Achedya, cannot be cut. Body can be cut. Therefore, this Atma, not possible to cut, cannot be, its property is it cannot be cut. Like for example, wave and water. Can anything cut water, wave or water? You can't. Kledyaha. You can't chidyaha. But if something is floating on the water, something like a rubber floating on the water, rubber tube floating on the water, can you cut it? But when you cut the rubber tube, is the water getting cut? शरीर के साथ यही है. जब शरीर कट रहा है, आत्मा नहीं कट रही, क्योंकि आत्मा कट नहीं सकती, कट ही नहीं सकती. मतलब that has to be firm here. That has to get consolidated. What cannot be cut is Atma. Other than that, everything will have one or the other means of destruction applicable to them. That is how the whole world is, we said, vinashi. सब पदार्थ यहाँ पे विनाशी हैं. अच्छेद्यम अदाह्यम, cannot be burnt. This Atma cannot be burnt. Akletya, cannot be wet. Ashoshya, cannot be dried. Therefore, consolidated the statement again. Nityaha. This Atma is Nityam. Sarvagataha. What he started as Pratigya, ended. Sarvagataha. It is all pervasive. That is why it is partless. If there was a place where it was and where it was not, then it was made up of parts. Supposing you say, like ozone layer, it only is above the earth, but it is not there in space. That means there is a limitation to ozone. It is here, but it is not there. But Atma is not like that. It is here and not there. Sarvagataha. You cannot conceive of a place where Atma is not, or a thing where Atma is not, or a moment where Atma is not. Time, space, causation are because of Atma. In them is not Atma. Atma is not in time, Atma is not in space, Atma is not in causation. Time, space and causation are in Atma. Due to Atma, because of Atma. Atma is the sole reason that there is time. Experience. Time is not an existent factor, it's an experiential factor. Time, space, and causation. What makes the world, definition of the world. All of this, correct. All of the Sarvagataha, it is everywhere, in everything. Therefore, it is Nitya. All these are actually only one statement. There's only one word. These are all trying to help us to appreciate Atma. But बात सिर्फ एक की हो रही है. They're not different properties of Atma. Atma is time. Forgot what I was saying. Atma is forgot the thread of thought I was lost. So I guess we get the idea now. So it is everywhere. There is nowhere that it is not. Nityaha sarvagataha sthanuhu. It is achalaha. It doesn't move, immovable. Sthanuhu, it is Kutastha. Kutastha Nityam. All these are, what I was saying is, all these are not properties of Atma differently described. Like supposing I have to give a description of myself, what will I say? Oh, all of us have nice things to say about ourselves, so let's just keep it to nice things. I'm a kind person, I'm a generous person, I'm a loving person, I'm a compassionate person, I'm a this person. All these seem to be as if qualifying me. Am I making this clear? All these are as if qualifying me. Atma doesn't, all this avikriya, nitya, sarvagata, sthanu, ajaha, these are not qualifying Atma. They're only helping us to understand that one who is, what is. Atma. Whether you pick it up from the thread of Avinashi, you will arrive at all these terms. You pick it up at the thread of Sarvagata, you will arrive at all these terms. One is helping understand the other term. They are not exclusively, separately to be discerned and understood. Pick up any one, you will know Atma in the nature of all this. अगर नित्य समझ में आ गया शब्द, सत समझ में आ गया शब्द, तो ये सब अपने आप समझ में आ जाएंगे. एक एक करके सबको समझ के फिर उनको इकट्ठा करके then you have to now understand Atma. It's not like that. That each of them I have to understand, and therefore the day I understand all of them, I will understand Atma. No, pick up anyone. If you understand anyone, you will understand Atma. Therefore, it is Sthanuhu Achalaha Ayam Sanatanaha. Sanatanaha means Chirantanaha. It has ever been, it will ever be. It never changes, everlasting. It is Abhinavaha iti arthaha. It is always as if with the sense of it being new, fresh. It never undergoes decay, no? So it is always fresh. What a relief. 1,000 janmas later also, this is what Atma will be. If I miss the class today, supposing, if I miss the understanding now or after some more repetitions of knowledge and I have missed it, and God forbid, I will carry the knowledge forward, the quest for fulfillment through the knowledge, Chiranjeevi. And because of which, I will continue in the another upadhi, maybe more qualified to understand better. I would have earned another upadhi. Even then, what will I hear? The same. Atma nityaha, Atma shuddhaha, Atma muktaha, Atma sarvagataha, Atma sthanuhu, achalaha, ajam, tat Atma. Tat Atma. Tvamasi. You are. So with this, then we move on. This I think we'll do in the next class. Avyaktaha ayam achintyaha ayam avikaryaha ayam uchyate. Tasmat evam. Know this Atma to be avyakta, achintya, avikarya. Because he's given all these explanations in the previous verse. When there is birth, this doesn't have a birth. So it's avyaktaha. It doesn't have any modification. It is aprameya, so it's achintya. It is avinashi, it is avikarya. This is called, Atma is called this. Tasmat evam. Therefore, knowing Atma as this, viditva, jankar, knowing it in this manner, na anushochitum arhasi. Do not grieve, O Arjuna, nobody. Na anushochitam. Arhasi, you should not be grieving, Arjuna, and us telling us. Knowing Atma, the truth, there is no cause for grief. Therefore, don't grieve. This will continue in the next class. I think enough said. Picking it up over here. And if there's any question, we'll take up. Otherwise, we can wind up early today.
Deepti, what happens to the a jnani who has not been able to complete his jnana is incomplete? So what happens in that case? I mean, would he come in a birth wherein it will help him complete his knowledge, or what exactly happens?
For different people, there'll be different things. There'll be no set map graph for everyone. The principle is whatever next environment is earned is based upon your collection so far. Now, will the immediate birth be according to carry forward of this lifetime straight away? Not necessary. It can happen. There could be another pratibandhaka. Pratibandhaka is an obstacle that you have earned yourself. It could be, there are many reasons. You may need a short or a long, God knows. So each one to their own. But the knowledge that has been acquired, and if it is not completed, Krishna says you'll be born in a conducive environment to complete it. If you'll be born in he'll say it in the next, I've forgotten which chapter, but he'll say it to Arjuna. Arjuna raises the same question. And he says, you'll be born in the company of yogis and jnanis who will help you to complete. Who means in that environment, that aspect which is left incomplete will find an easier expression to complete it. It's like for many of us, say, one or two of our family may be interested and the rest are not, and then you are pursuing it at an individual level and you have more commitments outside also. But all this, so at some point you just I wish the whole family was supporting kind of this cause, and so making it easier to pursue it. It will help in that way. But you cannot take that for granted, is what the point is. Nobody knows what the collection is. So what is going to be the immediate one? We don't know. But yes, the principle will be assured by Krishna that the environment wherever you will be helpful for you to pursue your growth forward. Whether it is effortlessly or with effort, whatever it is, will only be conducive for you. So never resist anything from creation. It has come to you to help you. Is that clear? Divya?
Yes, Deepti ji.
So in other words, they are very, Shastra tells us, don't depend on tomorrow. Means next life, next. No, even though there's an assurance, don't have to latch on to that assurance. Let it fall in the niyam. There is a niyam. You will get your gati according to the niyam. If you're walking correctly, you're bound to reach your destination. That's all. So the idea that Shastra tells us is, present life, live as best as you can under the guidance of the Shastra. The path that they show, the knowledge that they give, let that knowledge be your guiding source. अपनी मर्जी लगाते हैं जहां हम, वो हमारा ऑब्स्टिकल बनता है. And that then interferes with the straight, smooth road. But nothing ever in creation is meant to punish. It is all for this, for one to grow. It's our own.
The idea is we will never be happy outside. So you will be unhappy if you invite unhappiness. If you keep staying and you search for things outside, okay, today I have this car, now I want that car. So you're creating your own unhappiness at the end of the day.
That's right. That's right. Desires are always going to be like that. Okay. So, any other question? Otherwise, we'll write. I think it is is Nishprayojana Yatna. I don't know what you mean by Nishprayojana Yatna. Arjuna had amnesia about the Gyan. Is Nishprayojana Yatna? I don't know what does this mean. Nishprayojana Yatna. It is not a. You can't call it a Nishprayojana. It is not Nishprayojana. We wouldn't have got the knowledge otherwise. It is inevitable in that sense if you mean Nishprayojan. Nishprayojan normally means futile. His amnesia is not a futile thing. It's a byproduct of his moh. Is a byproduct of his. We've discussed it in great detail in the first chapter. It's a result of something. It is inevitability of the mind to be there in that manner of confusion that arises. So, to go into the causes, okay. Isn't it to go into the causes and imagine future possibilities? Yeah, that then is correct. To go into the causes and imagine future possibilities to regain it. That is Nishprayojan. There was no need for all that. Yeah, that is correct. Absolutely. Good. Yeah. Thank you for saying that also. Okay, so we will end here. I don't think I've left out anything. Yeah, all right. Can you conclude the class? Let's do the Kale Varshite also, like we used to do before. I'll just share it. It's a beautiful prayer. I had thought we'll start again. So, can you see the slide?
Yeah. Start with this one or?
Start with the original, the first one, and then this. Yeah.
Sarvesham swastirбhavatu, Sarvesham shantirbhavatu, Sarvesham purnam bhavatu, Sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, Sarve santu niramaya, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, Ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhave. Om स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण मही गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्रह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Oh, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dipti ji. Hari Om. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Dipti
Deepti.
Pranam.
Thank you,
Thank you
Dipti
very
ji.
much. Thank
Hari
you.
Om.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Deepti
Hari
ji.
Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om ji. Thank you. Thank you.